if the kids do end up eating this for breakfast, usually they'll do like a slice of the banana bread with like an orange or an apple or maybe a little bit of yogurt or something. Sometimes on mornings when the kids aren't as into breakfast foods, we all have mornings like that, they'll just do a slice of this or something. But it also works really well because our kids at our school eat breakfast in their classrooms, so they can take a slice with them in like a Ziploc bag or something and eat it in the classroom with the kids who eat school provided breakfasts. So it works well. I'm gonna leave that there, let it cool off and do its thing. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Cassandra. We're doing the intro after we already cooked today, but we are making lasagna for dinner tonight and some banana bread for an after school snack. A long time since my kids have had requests, just because January everybody was so sick. It's taken everybody time to get healthy again and have food actually sound appetizing. So I had requests today for banana bread for an after school snack. We're going to show you guys my go-to banana bread recipe, how my kids like it, and we're going to prep dinner tonight. I had two kids both come to me separately and ask for pasta tonight, which was perfect because I had already planned on making a lasagna for dinner tonight. It's going to be great. I made these Olive Garden copycat breadsticks yesterday for dinner. You'll see these in a what's for dinner video. The video might already be up. If it's up, I will link it down below, but I'll make sure I link this recipe down below. I will make this recipe again. I've tried a handful of different breadstick recipes. I've never liked them. This one is my go-to. The texture on these are really great. It got a really nice kind of crusty bottom, and this is a really good breadstick. Very simple recipe, super easy. I would say this is a very good beginner friendly recipe. I am excited to try this dough out. I would like to try to freeze the dough, see how it freezes, be able to have these kind of prepped and ready to go. These will be really nice for postpartum to have, but because I have them, breadsticks and lasagna is always really good. So we're gonna prep our lasagna, get that in the fridge, and make it so that dinner is just super easy breezy tonight, but also have leftovers for tomorrow for when my husband teaches, and I don't have to worry about dinner tomorrow as well, and be able to basically cook, you know, 2 meals, clean my kitchen once, and have it all prepped and ready to go before my big kids get off the bus and my husband gets home from work. I'm gonna show you guys how I make my lasagna. So I will have the breadstick recipe linked down below, that video linked down below that I mentioned, and also the banana bread recipe linked down below. I say this all the time, but I am notorious for forgetting to link things. So if I mention something and it's not linked, just go ahead and comment. I will make sure that I get that link for you. And let's go ahead and hop in. This was a 4-minute clip that I just sped up. Here is our banana recipe if you want to screenshot and save for later. But I didn't want to make any cuts here. I just wanted to speed it up a little bit to kind of just show you guys that you can make from scratch items without having to stand in the kitchen for long periods of time, or do a little bit of meal prepping for breakfast, kind of like we're doing, or after school snacks. Bring it to work with you, whatever, that, you know, you really can be in the kitchen total time, like effort you're putting in for like 10 minutes, including the cleanup and putting things away. It doesn't always have to be like these huge, massive things that we often see here on YouTube where people take, you know, 2 days and they're prepping like 100 meals. That's great, and I love to do that too, but it's not always feasible. And this is something super easy, just whipping up a banana bread and calling it good, having it for the week ahead. And sometimes that's all it takes, you guys. So I don't know, I just kind of wanted to throw that out there because I haven't seen that all over social media recently, and you don't always have to go all in. You know, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can just make something really quick and really simple and still be winning. I like to keep the meat filling rather basic for our either stuffed shells or lasagna. The only thing that I do differently for stuffed shells is I would mix an egg, like a raw egg, into it. Once the mixture is cooked, then I would add a raw egg It helps make it a little bit creamier, easier to stuff into the... Keep my seasonings pretty simple and basic because we buy our pork locally from our neighbors across the street actually, and our butcher has, or the processor has, really good Italian sausage recipe that they make. So it's already Italian sausage. I'm just doctoring it up a little bit more to our personal taste. So I add a little bit of seasoned salt, black pepper, onion powder, basil. I will add in like a shallot or an onion that we have from the garden, some garlic, something like that. Today I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it really basic. A very little bit of this tomato basil garlic sauce from Aldi. We really like this. Did not grow enough tomatoes last year to preserve a whole year's worth of tomato sauce. So for the last couple of months we've been using these. I have a little bit of that left, but a couple months ago I got a bunch of the different pasta sauces from Aldi because it had been probably 3 or 4 years since I've had to buy pasta sauce. I didn't remember what we liked. So I bought a couple different ones. The traditional ones we don't really like that much. It's a little too acidic for us. It just tastes like a basic, I don't know, once you get used to one thing, the plain stuff doesn't taste as good. There's no like veggies in it, no herbs in it. Pre-baked, well there's, I don't know how to explain it. It's just not as good, okay? That's my personal preference. So I'm gonna mix my little bit of stuff that I have in here with the rest of this jar, get it off the shelf. And my lasagna noodles are just about done. These are the oven ready lasagna noodles. We don't like them when they're not cooked. That is an overall, we all agree on it. My husband and I both growing up with our parents boiling our pasta first. It's a softer lasagna. We think the texture is better when it comes out of the oven. So we're back to boiling it the way we grew up with it, and we like it much better that way. I am gonna get these drained off. I wanted to have my pasta done a little bit of time before my meat and everything else. That way my pasta had time to cool off so I wasn't burning my hands when laying it into the pan. Not doing anything else to my meat. What you saw me do is it. I'm just gonna cook it down, and once it's done, we will start layering our lasagnas, or our lasagna. I pulled everything else out of the freezer. I've got some shredded cheese here that we are pulling out of the freezer from the discount cheese my husband got last spring. Have a couple more bags of that left, so we are making our way through it. And I am still making my way through just a little bit of last month's groceries that we didn't get through because a lot of us were sick a lot last month. So I have some old, I say old, but it's last month's cottage cheese and last month's ricotta. That's why we're doing this meal tonight, cleaning out all the old stuff out of the fridge, getting use out of it before it's bad. And then by that time, by the time we get all this cooked and our lasagna assembled, the banana bread should be ready to pull out of the oven. I'm going to show you guys how we're going to top that, make it extra delicious the way my kids really, really like it. And that is going to be our time in the kitchen today, prepping dinner, an after school snack, probably some breakfast for the rest of the week, and using up the rest of our garlic breads that I made with the last night's dinner. Okay, so this lasagna is not anything super fancy and can only be described as the most Midwest lasagna ever. Okay, so we have our pasta, cottage cheese, some ricotta, our sausage and sauce mixture with a bag of shredded cheese. Use what you like, but this is what I have. This is clean out the fridge, clean out the pantry of items that we don't really like our pasta sauce, just trying to get things used up off the shelf, and then we can't forget about them and move on. Everything laid out here in my general vicinity to make things as easy as it can be and as quickly as it can go. Banana bread is starting to smell good. So I like to take just a little bit of this and put it on the bottom just so my lasagna doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. I don't know if that actually helps, but that's the way I was taught, so that's the way I do it. Layer of pasta. Oh, I was really hoping these would have time to cool off, but they are still very hot. Hi, bird. Hi, honey. Layer of ricotta, and then a layer of cottage cheese. That's not how my mother-in-law makes great lasagna, do not get me wrong, but on every layer she puts a thick layer of ricotta and a thick layer of cottage cheese plus a thick layer of cheese, and I cannot handle that much dairy. So I go a little lighter, even though hers is very, 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 very good and very beloved. It's just too much for this household, so I keep it a little bit lighter. Do a layer of sauce. I'm sure you guys know how lasagnas work. But then on this layer, I'll do a layer of cottage cheese in place of our ricotta. Try to mix those up a little bit, won't burn my fingers as much. The whole thing that inspired this lasagna tonight was I had some things I wanted to use up in my fridge before they went bad, like some of these dairy products here, but I also made those breadsticks last night with dinner, and I want to have a chance to make sure we're using those up. Of course, I can always throw them in the freezer if need be, but when it comes to cooking from scratch, if you don't want to have to make something from scratch every single night, it really helps to be able to just cook or bake like one bread product and be able to use that bread product for a handful of meals in a row. I know not everybody likes to eat like that, but we've never had an issue eating like that. We like that, and it makes it so that, like this week I made breadsticks as our bread product for dinners, and we don't always all eat them with every single meal. Like last night, I think only 2 of us had the breadsticks, but tonight that might be more because we're having a lasagna, and maybe 5 of us will have the breadsticks tonight, and they just kind of stay up on the counter. People can grab them as they want them for meals and whatnot. And if in a couple days we still have a couple left, then I can always throw them in my freezer. We can use them as breadsticks, pull them out of the freezer and just reheat them. Or if they spend a little bit too much time in the freezer and we feel like the texture is going to be off or the flavor is going to be off, I will just grind them up and make them into breadcrumbs, and we will use them that way. So nothing really gets wasted, but it also saves me time and energy because now tonight I don't have to go through the process of making another bread product because we're already going to have one. So we're just going to keep it kind of as is. I'm going to do one last layer here on our lasagna, and then I'm just going to stick this in the fridge because it's right around 2 o'clock. It's actually exactly 2 o'clock. So I'll probably wait until like 4:30. I'll throw this in the oven, have it fresh for dinner tonight, and then I don't have to worry about it. And I will also have lots of leftovers for tomorrow. Is that your puppy? Is he making you giggle? Tonight my husband teaches, so then I'll be able to do the same thing tomorrow. Just pull it out, throw it in the oven. Won't have to worry about cooking another meal tomorrow. For a vegetable for this, I have some green beans. I might cook up with a little bit of butter. I have lots of salad stuff in the fridge. My kids have been absolutely loving salads recently. I might do that. But we will see kind of how it goes. For my top layer, I like to do a little layer of cheese. And then I'm gonna take the rest of my sauce here. kind of spread this out. And then I will top it with just a hair bit more cheese. Remember, we're from Wisconsin, so if you think that this amount of dairy would give you a heart attack, please amend to as you need. I'm just showing you the most Wisconsin of Wisconsin lasagnas, and this is pretty much it. These are the new pans, or this is the new pan I got from Aldi. Really liking these. I've cooked in them once or twice since purchasing. I've had no issues. I like them a lot. I like the way the food cooks in them. They're easy to clean. The only complaint I have is the lids. They're not snap-ons. They kind of wrap around the pan a little bit, so they can be kind of difficult to get on and off. But it is what it is. I'm happy that they have lids, but overall still very happy with my purchase. So I'm going to actually, because my fridge is really full, because I just went once a month grocery shopping at the beginning of the month. Oh yeah. I am going to stick this on the freezer in my garage. It'll be fine out there for 2 hours or so. And I don't think it's cold enough outside, or at least in the garage, where it'll freeze. So just like that, dinner's ready to go. Let's check our banana bread, and then we can do a quick cleanup, load the dishwasher, wipe the counters off, and it'll be a really easy dinner tonight. And I like that. Sometimes you need that as a parent. Something, just prep it when the house is a little bit quieter and things are a little bit more relaxed, not rushing around with like homework and things. It looks good to me, so we're gonna pull this out. Inside this is just some cinnamon sugar mix. This is just a ground cinnamon from Aldi, but once it got down to like halfway, I filled it all the way up to the top with sugar, so it's half and half cinnamon and sugar. And we use this for the kids, like top toast in the morning or something like this, to top muffins with, because that's what the kids really like. But we're gonna do it with banana bread today. I think this is healthy in any way, shape, or form, but it makes it really good. So we're gonna take our butter here, and because this is really hot, we don't need to melt it. If you wanted to do this after it was cooled, you can definitely do that. Just melt your butter in the microwave and just kind of pour it over the top of your banana bread, or if they're muffins, I like to just dip it in the bowl of butter. And then we're gonna take our cinnamon sugar mixture and just sprinkle it on top. And it's just so good. It gives it a little bit of a crunch, but also just that extra like sweet cinnamon deliciousness. We're gonna let this just sit and do its thing and cool off, and it'll be ready for when the kids come home for after school snack.